What's up, everybody? This the title of this video is Best Buddies. Best Buddy. The commanders and their best buddy. So this will be kind of just a feature on, a commander that I'd like to play and like a best buddy that they have that really, really rounds out the deck. So let's just zoom just a little nicely on there. Maybe get it down a little bit lower here. Nice. So we all know this guy from the new set, Aragorn the Uniter. He's got a lot of text, and he's a 4-color commander, so he is a legendary creature. So that definitely takes into account kind of our deck philosophy for this deck. So he is a legend. He's a human noble. Whenever you cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Whenever you cast a blue spell, scry 2. Whenever you cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to target opponent, not each opponent, to a target opponent. Whenever you cast a green spell, target creature gets 4/4 until end of turn. I would say all the features are very useful in this. We're definitely focused for the green color. I really appreciate one of the viewers from the last video that we did. We did the Vesuvian Duplimancy, and I believe it was Scorpio. And he had a cool Scorpio Orion. Thanks, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me and letting me know that the fight spells wouldn't work with that particular enchantment. Basically, because you did that, like, I don't have to go to the LGS now and play that interaction and then someone call it out on me, while we're playing. So I appreciate it very much. So thanks for doing that. And I have included some cards that will still work out pretty well for that. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate you. But yeah, I have some good options. I still think we still want to play the Vesuvian Duplimancy. And there's some nice features that kind of carried over from a deck idea I had with Thalion and Get Rock Monster. So we'll talk about that. But Aragorn is fantastic. We like Aragorn because we're really going to be focusing on that commander damage. Duplicating him, getting that 4/4 until end of turn, pumping up our commander and getting in for lethal. So the best buddy. Okay, Aragorn's best buddy is definitely Omnath, the Locus of creation. So when we cast an Omnath, we're actually going to trigger all 4 modes of Aragorn. So that's just a really clever way to just get a lot of value out of our Aragorn. And Omnath is just a good card in itself. So here's Omnath. It's a red, green, white, and blue. It is also a legendary creature. And these all will take it. This all is very important, the legend aspect, and I'll kind of get into that. So when Omnath Locus creation enters the battlefield, you draw a card. So that's nice text already. We already get a card out of it when he enters the battlefield. So that's really nice. And then landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, we gain 4 life. Very well. Now, if we have a land that enter for the second time in a turn, we're going to actually add the red, green, white, and blue to our mana pool. We can play it on any spell. And it just goes right into our mana pool. So nice. So if it's the third time, then Omnath will deal 4 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. I don't expect to hit the third criteria very often. I could foresee it happening. For instance, if we have an Uro in our hand, like a fetch land to play for the turn, that could definitely be like a situation where that could happen. So just getting that nice second resolution there for adding a red, green, white, and blue is just very strong. This card was banned in standard. It is just it's probably other formats too. We can play it in Commander, so it's a singleton format, which is nice. So we can play a lot of very strong cards, which is cool. So Omnath is just one of the best buddies for Aragorn. We're going to get that 1/1 token. We're going to be able to scry. We're going to deal 3 damage to a target opponent, and then we're going to get a 4/4 buff with the Omnath. So overall, just a best bud. So I will just kind of thumb through the deck a little bit here. So as I fade out a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. Just want to keep this picture. Sorry, guys. That's fine, I guess. I like to keep it focused, but and just kind of throw them through the deck, and we can kind of just to get an overall idea of what we're kind of working with here. So I'll just kind of thumb through the cards, and you can kind of just see what you'll notice that we're definitely playing a lot of legendary creatures, and there is a reason for that. We're playing a couple dorks in this deck. We have like a Delighted Halfling, Avacyn's Pilgrim, and a Bird of Paradise. So we just kind of have some different type of mana production other than just green that we get with like a Land War Elf. So just some of the nice legendaries that we have here. Ooh, Xenagos. I'd say this is like a highlight of the deck. Like when Aragorn gets really strong and we're going into combat, we can hit that commander criteria damage like pretty easily. So Xenagos is just a ferocious card in this deck. For the Erlingas. Dragon Rage Channeler, because we do like kind of like to filter through our deck. We like to put some cards in our graveyard too. We definitely have some graveyard synergy, just like basically flashback cards. Here's Garrick's Uprising, just kind of works well with our trample for Aragorn. Some busted cards here, of course, like Soul Ring. I just like to put Doors of Durin in like all my creature-based decks now. I think it's just like really easy creature value. We're usually going to just have a creature attacking in. We're going to be able to scry and also be able to put a creature on to the battlefield to be tapped and attacking. So we'll get those into the battlefield triggers. It's just a nice feature. It's also a legendary. So just keep that in mind too. It's also a legendary artifact. So we are a legendary artifact matters deck. I wonder if you can guess. Go ahead and put in a comment. Why you think we have a lot of legendaries in here? What card are we playing that's going to make that pay off? And I think you might know already, but we'll see. So I also, because we did take the charms out, and in favor of like just these cards that do only target a single creature, so we can still use our Vesuvian Duplimancy because I really want it to work. So we have like these fight spells that aren't fight spells. I guess they're not fight spells. What they do though is they do target a creature, one target creature, and then we get a benefit. I hope that's how this works. Let me read this particular card. All creatures able to block target creatures. So we're not targeting anyone else. We're just targeting our creature, and all those creatures that have to block it will have to do so. I'm hoping that's correct. But I do believe so. We're not targeting anything else specifically other than as in a fight spell, you target your creature and you target another creature, whereas this it's in the text itself, right? To block the target creature. So all the creatures. So we'll see. I think that's correct. I think I know it is. So that's what we're going to be doing instead with the Vesuvian Diplomacy. And we have General Ferrus Rockerick here, just more legendaries, just more multicolored payoffs, Jetmir. There's Avacyn's Pilgrim, just kind of a nice dork right there. So it's like multicolored decks are kind of weird, like the 4-color ones, because there's so many fetch lands, so it's kind of like a natural progression into like landfall deck, like landfall synergy. But also at the same time, like it's not always easy to have, it's not always so consistent to have a green source on turn 2. Like we're playing a couple dorks, but I'd say they're kind of risky too. Like sometimes you have to, pay, sometimes you have to pay a tap land, before you get those out, that specific mana base. So it's just kind of like more of like a payoff. If we can get one of those dorks down on turn 1, it's going to be nice. But I think in favor, we do just have our playing like the Signets and like a Felwar Stone, just because it's kind of more dependable to ramp that way. I do play like a Cultivate in here, or like a Kodama's Reach though. So that's nice. Like again, Aragorn just likes these kind of like low cost spells, and then this is also just like helps us get value of our graveyard, helps us like kind of fix draws too. Faithless Looting, really good card. Showdown, very nice. Mystical Tutor. So this was like another one. So this was the Revenge of the Hunted. And once again, this is just like our, instead of playing like some of the charms, which do give some good value, but I think this works for Aragorn. Like, we're going to be buffing up Aragorn, pretty decently, and hopefully casting this for its miracle cost. So, we can make Aragorn pretty strong, and make it even a bigger threat. And Aragorn loves green spells, so getting that buff and then an additional buff, it's just kind of nice, right? So I'm going to try it, and it also works with our Vesuvian Duplimancy. Here's the monkey. And just here we go. So here's just part of the other deck. So we have like Enlightened Tutor that can fetch us some like the Bard class, which you kind of mentioned already. Spark Double is just fantastic here. I would even consider like more like shapeshifters in this deck, to be honest, the ones that don't legend rule creatures. Okay, so there's the Vesuvian Duplimancy, and this was the card that was kind of obviously in like a mutate deck. It's just so sick, right? And I do appreciate the input. Like, it would have been pretty sad to like, play the semi-LGS and, have a decisive denial targeting Aragorn and someone saying, oh, that does not count, or that shouldn't count, or if it just happens and it's just not like legal, that'd be kind of sad too. So I really appreciate y'all for, staying up on that. But I do believe that Huntmaster card and the other basically card that only targets one creature within the text, and all creatures within that text have to block. I think that is sufficient for basically, triggering off our Vesuvian Duplimancy. So it'd be nice to like see, if they added some of those cards to Arena, if I could, do that interaction just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. We're only targeting one creature, so. Clothless, God of Destiny, some more legends, basically a Bard class deck. I mean, some of these creatures like General Ferris, Rockrick, and Uro, they go out of the red-green, mana type, which Bard class likes, just because they're so good. But mostly all of our legends like have the red-green in the text. So it's Rocco, Hajar. We have those like the adventure creatures just because they're very nice. They're just, just 2 spells in one is just nice for our deck. I love Goldspan Dragon, just a nice accelerant, gives us a lot of, just not a legend, but just, gets us going and cooking. Signet, March of Swirling Mist, Virginia Springs, there's Nissa's, because we do have like a bit of a landfall synergy. So there's a Bard class. So if you're not familiar with this particular card, it's a red and a green, it's an enchantment, it's a class. Legendary creatures you control enter the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter them, that's nice. Just de facto. Then on level 2, legendary spells cast red-green lust to cast. This effect reduces only the amount of colored mana you pay. Fantastic. And whenever you cast a legendary spell, exile it for level 3. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. So, just a super sweet card. It even works with our Doors of Durin because it is a legendary spell. It's a legendary artifact. It works with like a lot of our legendaries. Obviously, they have red and green in them, so artifacts, enchantments. I don't know if there's legendary enchantments, but there are legendary artifacts apparently. So there you go. That'd be fantastic. Naya Charm, Domri, super cool. Love Domri. This is a really nice and kind of buffs our squad up and can get us some mana there for our creature spells, and then also the fight. I really like Domri here for the legendary aspect. There's Ginny Faye, also kind of fits that same role there with that red-green legendary. Also will turn our 1/1 tokens we make with Aragorn into 3/1 cats, or 2/2 green hasty cats, or 3/1 vigilant dogs, or 2/2 hasty cats. So, yeah, that's pretty much the deck there. I mean, and then we have some just sweet, like, multicolored, like, utility cards. Eldromir's Call, we're probably going to be fetching, like, Omnath. Growth Spiral, just a sweet, like, 2 mana instant spell to, play on turn 2 and accelerate us. Bone Crusher, this also, ironically, would target Aragorn if we did have a Vesuvian Duplimancy. So we could target our Aragorn with a Bone Daddy tech. Escape to the Wilds, Bally Good Recovery. This is just a super sick card, huh? Yeah, get some additional land too off of that. Valakut Recovery, Swords, Boros Charm. Kind of discussed this in the last video to a degree. So yeah, overall, like I'd say for this particular deck, you're kind of hitting your sweet spot when you have this guy out here. I would like to see this guy too. You know, like, yeah, that's a nice text to other creatures you control have trample. That's really good for Aragorn. And then creature spells can't be countered, and this spell can't be countered. That's some nice, interesting, and it has flash. Whew. Oh, what an interesting card that is, huh? So I'm excited. I haven't played it yet, you know, and obviously there's some cards in Commander that, you know, in your 99 that you like haven't even seen on the battlefield yet, because, you know, just you play like a couple games, right? You're in your best, you're living your best life when you have this card on the battlefield with Aragorn, and this, I would say. Where is it at? It's the Spark Double, so let's just see, I think it's over here in the middle. Vesuvian Duplimency, there it is. Yep, this is pretty much like the Wombo Bombo combo right here. So you're basically just going to be copying Aragorn with a Spark Double, having two Aragorns on the battlefield, and then you have and then you have a Xenagos, and then like basically like any green spell you play, you're going to be able to buff your commander here. This one, the original, I know, like basically by 8/8 at a time. So it'll basically become a 13/13, and then when you go to combat, you're going to get to bring Aragorn like a 26/26. So you reach that criteria for commander damage like pretty easily, and it's basically just like a 2-card combo. It's really just like the Spark Double and Xenagos, because, you know, really focus this deck to like just include a lot of green, right? So most of our cards will have you know, like green in them, and I've kind of like made sure this card is just good on its own. The Fourth Lingus. I mean, I love that card. You can play it just for the red and white. You know, with Aragorn on the battlefield, you still get a token. So yeah, we really focused on like, you know, really pushing the green cards. You know, green cards are very good for our deck. So yeah, it's very, very cool. So also another card that really like plays well with Aragorn specifically is the Embercleave. So let's get our Embercleave out here. This is like probably the best Embercleave deck I have, and like it's so interesting. Like you'd think that Embercleave would just fit into like a lot of decks like pretty easily, and that could be true. But this deck in particular really likes this card a lot. This card, because you make like a lot of tokens. So let's zoom in on this bad boy. Yeah, we'll make like a lot of tokens. So like our cost for, you know, playing this if we swing is going to be less. The more creatures that swing, you know, the less it costs. So yeah, the Embercleave, it just basically can play it at flash speed, and we'll equip our Aragorn with it. It'll get an additional 1/1 and then have double strike and trample. So another great finisher. I'm very excited to just like kind of shuffle these like for you real quick and just kind of get like a little bit of a look at kind of what's going on with Aragorn, and like maybe what a sample shuffle would look like. This is kind of like what I usually do, you know, when I'm just hanging out. I'm kind of tuning my decks. Like there's so many new cards that come out all the time, and you know, I'm just like hoping that like the decks I've made I could like pull out in like 10 years, and you know, hopefully still like, you know, have a good game with them, you know. But like I said, like there's so many cards, and I mean the Dino set looks really cool. I really like the some of the artifacts. It seems like they really made a lot of artifacts, and I feel like you could just go like on an adventure in there, and like maybe it has even more artifacts than the Brothers War just in like the base set. Like there's so many, and like the cards like they just kind of in my mind, or like the Thousand Moon Smithy seems really good for like my Azorius Blink deck. Seems really good actually. Ooh, it seems really strong. I'll probably have to cut something really good because that deck is kind of stacked already. So, but I definitely want to get that card in that deck. There's no doubt about it. What else, man? There's like a new red artifact that seems very interesting too, where it basically, I think whenever you cast a creature, they have haste. It's like, I think it's one colorless, one red. And I think if you control, like, you meet the criteria for 3 or more artifacts, it like flips into a land. It's so interesting. So, like, that just seems like right where I want to be. Like, it seems like a good payoff. Like, I usually like colorless spells, artifact spells, you know, to play on 2 for 2 mana. But a 1 and a red, that seems pretty manageable and a pretty good payoff for what it does. So I would consider that for my Mary, because I am looking for a 3rd haste enabler. I really need it. And I mean, there's so many ways you can go with this game, and sometimes you could give yourself a headache to really optimize the deck, but sometimes I do that as well. But basically it's because they just keep coming out with all these new cards, and I have to like rethink what I'm gonna do. So anyways, let's just kind of look at some of these, just like kind of look what an opener might look like for us. So let's see here, Expand, Boros Charm, Garrett Uprising, Train Center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Bone Daddy, and a land. So no acceleration here, so they probably want a mulligan. There's like not really, there's no, I mean the utility, the mana looks pretty decent. I don't think I have green though. So that would be kind of maybe a deal breaker. Just curious to see what we'd draw into on our 8th. Like Lotus Cobra, yeah, it's pretty good. That would have been pretty good if I could get that in the opener. But yeah, the 4-color decks, you can't really play like a Jewel Lotus, right? Because, you know, your commander's like so many different colors. So I do like that card a lot, though. I think it's very strong, obviously. And I did pull one in the Commander Legends. Was it the Commander Legends that just came out? Yeah, or the Commander Masters. It's a hell of a set. I think that really brought some of those cards back down to reality for some of the players that want to like kind of get into those cards, you know, or made it more accessible, right? So let's see if we can get something good on our mulligan here. Having Bone Daddy is pretty good though, as removal, but I'd like a little bit more action. And that's why I also do this too, because I like to see like kind of what the deck does. You know, obviously like Ragavan is really strong in our opener. The Soul Ring is very strong. 5, probably like any of the Signets or Flower Stones is pretty good as well. So Mystical Tutor. Honestly, like sometimes I'll think about just considering like finding like a Growth Spiral with Mystical Tutor. So kind of similar, I think. I think this one, you know, maybe we could look for, because we're going to keep this hand, I'd probably go into Mystical Tutor to like find an Expressive Iteration. I think that would be fine. Just kind of would keep us, make sure that we're like getting to our 4 mana, because really we're just progressing towards Aragorn. So that's probably what I would just do. So let's just see what happens. So I just go into a Hollowed Fountain here. So let's see, we probably just want to get our mana going as fast as possible. So probably just go here like this. We just wait to end step. Does this change anything? Not really. No, we're still going to be able to iterate. So we really want to do that on 2 though, so it would be our turn 2 play. Could probably stomp something. Then iterate on 3. It's probably the best bet. So I'd still be looking for Expressive Iteration. We'd find that. Play this return, hello Bone Daddy, stomp something. Go in for our turn, iterate. We'd iterate on this turn, just like so. We'd look at the 3 here, we put 1 into our hand, and play 1 from our... So we go ahead and play this. For turn, just tap is fine. And then we put Colossus into our hand. And then we're like looking, our mana's pretty solid here. It looks like we're gonna be able to play Aragorn now. So we could do so. We have green, blue, white, red. There we go. So maybe not the fastest, but I think it's time to maybe consider some like maybe see, that's what I'm saying about, like, you know, being dependent on you know, green on 2. So I enjoyed this very much, and thank you so much for spending some time with me, and hopefully you have some success with your decks this week if you go to your LGS. Have a great day. Bye.